Hi guys, Cy Warren here from Psalm 71:17. I must apologize because it's been a really long time since I posted another solo course video. I apologize for that. But now we are going to get back into our solo course video and we're going to talk about pitch. How should a song leader pitch a song and how does a song leader pitch a song? First off, let me define what pitch is. According to the internet, which I thought would be a better, more reliable source than my definition, pitch is a perceptual property of sounds that allows their ordering on a frequency-related scale. That's an interesting way to put it. My definition would be, when you sing, you can produce a lower sound or a higher pitched sound. The way you sing can either be high or low. That is the way I would put it. It's simply what a sound makes if it is high or if it is low. Like if I hit a large piece of metal, like a barrel or something, it will produce a lower sound. But if I hit a tinier piece of metal, it will produce a higher sound. So the number of vibrations, if it's higher or lower, pretty much. That's the way I would put it. Sorry, I am not a scientist. Yeah. So the question you must be asking is, how does this apply to song leading? But pitch is one of the most important things to a song leader. It's one of the most important things a song leader needs to know. As a leader, your job is to pitch a song in a way that all four parts can sing effectively and comfortably in their sound. So, there are four parts in singing. You need to understand this if you're going to be a song leader. There are the soprano and the tenor parts. Soprano is the highest part. It's what the girls sing. They sing the melody. The soprano part is the melody. And that is a higher tone. It's a higher part in music. And the tenor is the high part for a male to sing. The soprano is the high female part, and the tenor is the high male part. So if you pitch a song too high, it's going to cause the sopranos and the tenors to have difficulty singing their part because it's so high. There's also a lower part, the basses and the altos. The altos being the low female part and the basses being the low male part. If you pitch a song too low, the sopranos and the tenors are happy because they're singing their part very comfortably, but the basses and the altos are having troubles getting down to hit the low notes. So, a song leader's job, and what a song leader should do, is pitch a song in a way that all four parts can sing their part extremely comfortably and effectively. So, there are 8 notes in music. Now, these 8 notes can be different tones and different pitches, but there are 8 notes that have the same name. The notes are C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Oh, just kidding. It doesn't go that way. It goes C, D, E, F, G, and then it goes to A, B, and then back to C. 8 notes. That's what we call an octave. From C to C is an octave. 2 C's, 2 different pitches, same note. When we do C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, that's what we call a C major scale. It's a C octave. It consists of 8 notes. Now, I'm going to teach you how to read these notes. There are also another thing you need to know. Remember what I said about the 4 parts, bass, tenor, alto, and soprano? Well, the altos and sopranos sing in a different section of music than the basses and tenors do. Basses and tenors sing in what we call the bass clef. It's like this, but it looks different. I will talk about it in another video. This is going to be a 2-part video, and that's when I'll talk about the bass clef. But right now we're just going to worry about the treble clef. So just completely forget about the bass clef for now. What we're going to talk about is the treble clef, also known as the G clef. This is the treble clef. This is where you're going to pitch your song 95% of the time, maybe more. There are some exceptions. You may pick some songs that are pitched in the bass clef, but it's very rare. So the treble clef has the alto and the soprano parts. You will blow the top note in the treble clef, the soprano part, because it is the melody. So now I'm going to teach you what notes are in the treble clef. Let's take a look. Okay, so first off, there are 2 notes that are not contained in a measure. Okay, let me talk about what a measure is. A measure is what contains all the music. It contains all the notes and everything in music. It's called a measure. It's this, but without all this in it. It's just lines and 2 lines that intersect and end it. Okay, so let's look at the notes. There are 2 notes that are not in the measure. They are below the measure. C and D. C has a line through it, and D is just a regular note that is on the bottom of the first line. Measures consist of lines and spaces. There are 5 lines and 4 spaces, called space notes and line notes. Let's take a look at the line notes first. The line notes are E, G, B, D, and F. How are you supposed to remember that? It's very confusing. I have a saying for you. Every good boy does fine. So what we're saying is, every good boy does fine. So E for every is on the first line. Every good, G, is on the second line. Every good. So first line is E, second line is G. Every good boy. Third line is B. Every good boy does. Fourth line is D. Every good boy does fine. Fifth line is an F. Now let's take a look at the space notes. Space notes. There are 4 space notes. This one's really easy to remember. F-A-C-E. Face. F-A-C-E. So, space notes. So, meaning on the first space, F is the first note in the space. The second note in the space is A. F-A. So, the A is the second note in the space. The third note in the space is F-A-C. Sorry, I lost my place. C. So, F-A-C is the third note in the space. And then F-A-C-E is the last note in the space is E. So, F-A-C-E. Sorry, my artwork is not the best. Face. The space notes have 4 notes that go up consistently. F-A-C-E. And the lines are E, G, B, D, and F. Every good boy does fine. F-A-C-E. Face. That's how you remember your treble clef notes. So, those are the notes that you'll be looking at 95% of the time when you lead singing. You're going to blow the top note in the treble clef. So if the altos are on the first space, that would be an F, and the second note is a A on the second space, you would blow an A because it's the top note. This is confusing, but once you understand it, it's super easy. And it does get more complicated, but we'll talk about that in part 2. So how do I know, how can I blow the note, or how can I figure out what note is on top? Like, what sound does it make? There are instruments made for this. Now, when I say instruments, I'm just saying it's a tool to be used. When you use a pitch pipe, you're not playing it throughout the song, you're just using it to get the pitch so they can lead worship more effectively. So, how do I know what sound this note makes? There are instruments devised for this. I use a pitch pipe. This is a C to C pitch pipe. There are F to F pitch pipes. Remember we talked about an octave? There's different, every note has a scale. We'll talk about that in the second video, don't worry about it. But I will get a C to C pitch pipe because F to Fs are a little more complicated. So you're going to want a C to C pitch pipe. These are super cheap. You can order them from Amazon or like a Gospel Advocate store or a Christian bookstore. It just depends. There are also something called tuning fork. I don't use a tuning fork. I'm not sure if I've ever used one before, but what it is just a tiny little instrument, and you hit it on something, and then you put it up to your ear, and it gives you a certain note. And then you hum up the scale, and like if it's a C, and it gives you a C, and your note you're supposed to blow is a G, you do C, D, E, F, G. Then you'd hum up the scale. It's a little more complicated. I personally do not like tuning forks, but you do you. Okay, there are also electronic pitch pipes. The good thing about them is they do not go out of tune. Like, I had to get a new pitch pipe because the last pitch pipes I had started getting out of tune because if you carry them around, they get kind of beat up and then get lint inside them and then they get a little out of tune. That's when you need to get a new pitch pipe. The good thing about electronic pitch pipes, you can also get these at any store. It never goes out of tune and they give you the pitch effectively. You can also, the easiest thing is probably just to download an app on your phone. I personally don't like using that, but it's perfectly fine to use those. Just make sure you get one that's reliable and not going to have like a bunch of ads or anything, because that can be really annoying. So, how do I use this when I pitch a song? So, as I have said, you blow the top note that you see in the treble clef, what we talked about over there. That is the treble clef. You're going to blow the fourth note. You're going to blow the top note in the treble clef. I'm repeating myself because this is really confusing your first time you hear it. You blow the top note in the treble clef. Let's look at a song. If I told you probably don't remember this because it was 2 years ago. In my first solo course video, I said I was going to be using songs of faith and praise. That's the songbook I am using. If you don't have that songbook, that's fine. Just get another songbook. It may have a different note, but this will still apply. Let's, if you have this songbook, get it out and look at number 508. All right, so let's look at this song together. So I'm looking at the treble clef, the top clef. See the treble clef right there? We'll talk about what that means later, and we'll talk about what that means later. But right now, I just want you to look at this. I'm looking at the space note. I see that is an F. That is what the altos sing. The altos sing an F because F, A, C, E. So I go up. I see the F is what the altos sing, and then I go F, A. So I see that the note I'm going to blow is an A. So let's look at this song pitch-wise. A wonderful Savior is Jesus my Lord, a wonderful Savior to me. He hideth my soul in the cleft of the rock, where rivers of pleasure I see. Okay, the reason I stopped a little bit on rock is because that's a higher note. If I blow like, say, a C, a wonderful Savior is Jesus my Lord, a wonderful Savior to me. He hideth my soul in the cleft of the rock, where rivers of pleasure. That gets high. So you don't want to do that. If you pitch a song on the wrong note, and it can mess things up. Like, I might be able to sing that, but I'd be singing falsetto. If you're singing falsetto in your song, you probably got it pitched a little too high. So if you're going to pitch a song, just do it on the right notes. Now, there are some exceptions. Like if this song was too high for you, you can go down one space, one step. If you look at a pitch pipe, between A, there is a B, and what looks like a hashtag. I hate using that as an example, but that's what it looks like. There is an A, and to the right of it is a hashtag and a B, and on to the left of it is a B and a hashtag. Okay, that is called A flat. We'll talk about this later, don't worry about it. It's a step down, it's a little bit lower. So, if this song is a little too high for me, I could go down a step, blow an A flat, and that would be a little bit lower. You possibly could go to a G. That is as low as I would go with this, because you go any lower, it could get bad. I wouldn't even blow a G. I would only go up a step with the sharp, a hashtag, or only go down with a flat. So when pitching a song, just be aware of what note it is. If you pitch a song too high, it's bad. If you pitch a song too low, it's bad too, because the basses and tenors are struggling. Song too high, sopranos and tenors are struggling. Okay, so that's about it when it comes to pitch. One thing I'm going to tell you is how to blow a pitch pipe. You think, oh, you just put your mouth on it. Do not do that. How you blow a pitch pipe? You select your note, you put your fingers, and you pinch the pitch pipe, and you put your lips on your fingers. You do not put your lips on the pitch pipe. If you do that, you get saliva in it. You can still get saliva this way, it just not as much, because you don't have your mouth in it. You don't eat the pitch pipe. You put your fingers and you blow. Gives you a much clearer sound and will make the pitch pipe last longer. That's how you blow a pitch pipe. That's just a little tip to help you song lead. Alright, thanks guys so much for watching this video. We all appreciate it. We thank you for subscribing to Psalm 71:17. And if you have not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. I will say pitch is extremely important for song leaders. It's probably the most important mechanic of song leading. Because if you pitch a song in a way that's too high for some parts or too low for some parts, it's going to ruin the song. People are going to get distracted by the way it sounds. And so that could get bad. And if people are getting distracted, they're not worshiping God in the appropriate way. They need to be focusing on the words. They're focusing on the music. So make sure you pitch a song appropriately and effectively. Thanks guys so much for watching.